Los Angeles has that kind of quiet around midnight, the kind that feels staged, like someone muted the world but forgot to tell the palm trees. And on a cool November night, in a pocket of Silver Lake where the streetlights glow like dimmed spotlights, that quiet cracked wide open. It wasn't the sound that did it. It was a moment, a movement, a 12-second grainy clip that would go on to set the entire internet on fire. Zendaya and Tom Holland, Hollywood's golden pair, Marvel's favorite off-screen duo, the internet's symbol of what love should look like, suddenly became the centerpiece of a rumor tornado no one saw coming. The clip wasn't clear, it had no audio, it had no context, but it had just enough to make people believe they were witnessing a midnight argument unraveling on an LA sidewalk. In that shaky video, Zendaya steps out of a black SUV, her movements sharp, her hands cutting through the air with visible frustration. A second later, Tom emerges, hoodie low, his voice raised, even though the mic didn't pick it up. They stop under the street lamp. Zendaya steps back. Tom lifts his hands, palms open. In defense? In explanation? In exasperation? No one could agree. Then came the moment that sent millions into meltdown. Zendaya shakes her head, turns slightly away, and the clip ends abruptly, as if the person recording ducked or lost their nerve. It was just enough ambiguity to ignite the kind of speculation storm that Hollywood dreads. Within minutes, the upload hopped platforms like wildfire, jumping rooftops. TikTok detectives began slowing the footage down frame by frame, dropping theories like courtroom attorneys. Twitter turned into a battleground where every angle was a smoking gun. Reddit spun entire dissertations about body language, stress signals, and what raised hands in low light might imply. People who had never met either actor wrote thread after thread narrating the couple's supposed emotional trajectory like they were writing a docuseries. And the comments? Well, they were a mix of concern, chaos, and that strange fanaticism that comes from people believing they have the right to unpack celebrities' private lives like puzzles. But to understand why the world reacted the way it did, you have to look at the relationship Zendaya and Tom have built in the public eye. They're not messy. They don't chase headlines. They don't stage PDA walks or leak fake stories for clicks. They became Hollywood's comfort couple precisely because they didn't play the fame game. Fans have watched them grow from co-stars to best friends to whatever this deeply bonded, fiercely private partnership is. They're steady, supportive, unproblematic. They show up for each other's premieres, cheer each other on, and vanish together between projects. So when the internet sees friction, or even the hint of it, the world panics. Because if they aren't perfect, who is? The online reaction said more about us than it did about them. The moment something looked off, people projected their own heartbreaks, expectations, hopes, and fears onto two human beings caught in a 12-second window they never consented to share. And just like that, the pedestal the world had built for them started shaking. But the digital storm didn't last long before the first crack appeared in the narrative. A second video surfaced, this time from a security camera outside a cafe across the street. The visual quality was clearer, the angle wider, the clip longer. And suddenly the story shifted. Zendaya wasn't storming away. She was stepping back so Tom could reach down toward something near the curb. The frustrated gesture? It was her pointing toward the backseat of the SUV. Her head shake looked less like anger and more like the exhaustion of someone who had been on the road for hours. Tom's raised hands looked more like someone saying, "Wait, hold on, I see it." It wasn't a fight, but more like a fast, frantic exchange. Then came the witness, a barista who had closed up early and was locking the side door when the SUV pulled up. She told a local reporter that the pair weren't arguing at all. Instead, Zendaya had actually spotted a stray dog sprinting across the street just a few seconds earlier. The dog had nearly been clipped by a passing car. Zendaya immediately got out to see where it had gone, and Tom followed, trying to help her coax the frightened animal out from behind a parked car. The supposed argument gestures? Well, they were really just trying to figure out how to get the dog to safety without scaring it into the road again. That head shake? Zendaya was telling Tom not to step too close, or he might spook it. And those raised hands? That was Tom lowering himself and calling the dog over gently. Suddenly, the world's fight transformed into a misread moment of compassion. And just like that, millions of people found themselves staring at their screens realizing they had jumped to the most dramatic possible conclusion. Again. The online narrative collapsed like a stage prop under a spotlight. Confusion turned to embarrassment. Embarrassment turned to relief. Relief turned to, wow, we really did too much over a blurry clip. But even as the truth surfaced, something deeper revealed itself. Zendaya and Tom's relationship has always existed under a microscope, and moments like this show how suffocating that spotlight can be. Imagine living in a world where a single misinterpreted movement sparks global panic. Where your exhaustion becomes evidence. Where a tense moment, which every human being has, becomes a trending hashtag dissected by strangers who feel entitled to your private life. Tom has spoken openly about how fame drains him. Zendaya has admitted she fiercely protects the parts of her life that keep her grounded. And yet, despite their best efforts, the world still tries to script their story for them. This midnight incident wasn't the first time a harmless moment spiraled into viral fiction. Remember when Tom was photographed talking animatedly on a balcony, and fans swore he was, breaking up with Zendaya, only for later photos to show them laughing just minutes afterward? Or when Zendaya was seen leaving a filming location looking tired, and people insisted she was sad about Tom? The narrative is always ready before the truth ever arrives. And that's the real headline here. The internet doesn't wait for facts when emotions are just, honestly, easier. It doesn't want subtlety, it wants angles, conflict, stories with sharp edges. And sometimes, it doesn't care if the truth gets flattened in the process. But what makes this moment different is what it revealed about Zendaya and Tom's dynamic. And in the end, this wasn't a scandal. It wasn't a breakup. It wasn't a midnight dispute of the century. It was honestly just a moment of humanity framed, misread, and, well, magnified beyond reason. A reminder that no amount of fame makes someone less human or less entitled to privacy. A reminder that even the most admired couples deserve space to exist without being turned into narrative puppets. A reminder that everything online comes with angles, and honestly, most of those angles lie. So the next time a grainy clip pops up at midnight and the internet gears up for chaos, remember what happened here. Remember how fast stories twist. Remember how easily people believe the dramatic version instead of the human one. And maybe, just maybe, remember that love isn't defined by the moments strangers misinterpret, but by the ones no camera ever catches. If you want more breakdowns that cut through rumors, decode viral moments, and pull the truth out from under Hollywood's loudest headlines, hit that like button, smash subscribe, and turn on notifications. This channel brings you the stories the internet gets wrong, the context people skip, and the real narratives hiding behind the noise. Stick around, because the next untold chapter is already on its way.